Hey girl, hey, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Misha. Thank you guys for joining me yet again for another review. We are back with a brand new review of Married at First Sight, Season 14, Episode 10. If you are new here, then welcome. I give lighthearted reviews with a little bit of laughter and a little bit of shade and a whole lot of detail. If you're back for a second or third time, then welcome back. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you get anything out of the content. Now listen, y'all. Now I'm watching this for y'all. So the least that y'all can do is treat me right, honey. Y'all don't want to stress my wig out. Shout out to Katina. I want y'all to love on me and choose me on decision day. So I'm going to need y'all to go ahead. Let's just pause for the cause. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so that you will be updated each and every time I upload a video. Now, child, let's get into it if we're going to get into it. Day 22 of marriage. When the episode first opens up, we see Steve and Noy. They're in love, child, because you know they said it last week and whatnot. They're waking up. Lindsay and Mark at the gym where he sells memberships and only makes $60,000 a year and don't think I forgot. And Jasmina and Michael acting like roommates. Lindsay and Mark. So Lindsay is talking to her friend Melanie about how Mark had started having sex with her. Then he pulled back, saying he wants it to be more intimate. And he's the one that initiated the sexuals. Okay. Like on the wedding night, he was down to go to Pound Town. And then a little bit later, he was like, yeah, I don't like it. She said, we haven't done it in 14 days. Her friend said, and you're still in it? Honey, we should be asking why he's still in it. Now, don't get ahead of yourself. It's a marriage, girl, Melanie. So she's like, yeah, I thought that it was going down this morning. And it was, but basically it was like a 7 minutes in heaven, honey. Mark didn't want to be bothered. He wanted to go and do what he had to do and get on down to the gym where he's selling memberships and whatnot. She said, you know, he jumps up to go to the gym. And she said, I was like, I just got to finish this off myself. So she pulled out her little friend to finish the job. Lindsay is basically saying Mark is not pleasing her at all. And she was happier sexually when she was single. Well, then you should have stayed single. Moving forward. So her friend is telling her to slow down. He just want to get to know you. Katina and Isaac. She said last night she felt bad because she takes being a wife to him very seriously. And she felt like she was disappointing him and herself. Girl, damn him. Okay? Damn him. You are not disappointing him. He's not your father. Like, that's some stuff you say about your parents. I feel like I disappointed them. They thought I was coming straight home, but I went to a friend's house. Girl, that is your husband. He's going to be all right. Trust me. She said, you know, I'm just really excited to see Dr. Viviana to get her take on things. So Dr. Viviana in her pretty dress, they show up. Hey, girl, come on in and sit on down and get these people together. So Dr. Viviana tells them that they've been keeping it up. And every time she sees them or hears about them, it's about cooking and cleaning. He's like, okay, so the cooking and the food, I need that. Elijah, we all need food to survive, honey. Somebody got to do some cooking. We know that. But the way that you are coming across is that you want her barefoot and pregnant. Not even pregnant, honey, because you ain't even touched her yet, which I think is strange in itself. But that's neither here nor there. That's just a side note. But you just want her in the kitchen 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Boy, if you don't gone. So Dr. V said, okay, so did you not eat before? Honey, exactly. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Conan the Barbarian, what did you do before you met Katina? That's what we all want to know. So he's like, well, you know, I would just grab something quick to eat, but I have a wife now and she works at home. Okay, she works at home, but she is still working. You know what just confuses me? How people act like because you work from home, you ain't working. The only thing that has been cut out is your commute. You still have to be effective. You still have to perform. You still have to hit your numbers. Work still has to be done. Anywho. So she's asking where he got the skill set that a wife needs to cook and clean. He's like, you know, it's just in me. Well, child, something is in you and it was trying to come out and it was on the side of them boxes when we saw you on the first night. But that's neither here nor there. Moving forward. So he's like, well, let me just point out some more, okay, because it's more than just cooking and cleaning. So he tells her about the housewarming and how he was upset that she said she was only going to clean half the floor. So he's questioning her mentally if they're on the same level. Oh, okay. I can tell you right now, no, you're not on the same level mentally. Mentally, you behave like a petulant child with your tantrums. So, I mean, there's that. So Dr. Viviana said, mentally? Girl, that's what we all were wondering, honey. We all said it in unison. See what we're not about to do, though? Okay, Dr. Viviana, honey, I know you got a job to do, and I'm going to let you do it. Okay, I'm going to let you finish. But I got to say something right here. What we're not about to do is sit here and point out every single thing that he sees as flaws when he has flaws of his damn own. We are not about to do that. We are not about to sit here and pick Katina apart. But oh yes, they are. Dr. Viviana said, so you're questioning her mental capabilities based on her cleaning? So he starts spewing out some BS. Meanwhile, poor Katina hasn't even put on a little concealer, honey. She clearly isn't getting all the sleep he's claiming she's getting because she got bags under her eyes and she can't even get up to get herself together. She's holding her head down. Girl, if you don't hold your head up, if you do not hold your head high, let me tell you something. Dr. Viviana, I do not even see why you're sitting here asking questions because clearly we can all see that she is broken. I would have ceased all conversation. I would have taken Katina out of the room because she's being subjected to being ridiculed in front of you and he's just saying all kinds of negative stuff. Like, this is just crazy. So she asked how Katina felt about this and, about her fears and whatnot. And she was like, I just feel like I'm with a person that if where I mess up, then he'll threaten to leave me. And child, who wants to be in some mess like that? Now he heard her, okay? He hears her. And instead of him reassuring her that he won't leave her, he gonna say, I need you to think about us. Let me tell y'all something. The way that I was cussing this TV out, I said, what about us? I need you to think about us. Are you serious right now? So then Dr. Viviana said, so you don't think she thinks about you too? He said, no, she thinks of I. Like, that's the way she thinks of. She's kind of lazy. Dr. Viviana said, okay, so you think she's lazy? He said, yeah, well, when it comes to the marriage, caring for the other person, the effort isn't there. I mean, it's triggering. I'm not being met. No, you're triggering. Okay, your behavior is really sick. You are triggering every woman that is watching this show that has ever experienced a narcissistic bald head, receding hairline, incompetent jerk. You are the triggering one. Did I miss anything? Tell y'all comment down below and tell me if I missed anything. You're triggering. Boy, get out of here. It's no wonder you were by yourself. Like, who could deal with that? You will be met, you will be met with some divorce papers. That's what you will be met with. Moving forward. She is never going to be able to satisfy this little twerp. You little weirdo. So Dr. Viviana said, so you have this idea of what marriage is. Is she not meeting those things? Like, if she doesn't meet those, are you going to talk down to her and tell her that she's not a woman or she's lazy? I hope that's not what's happening, but from the outside looking in, it sounds like it is. That's because it is, Dr. Viviana. And thank you for not doing that thing y'all like to do, which is act like stuff is not happening. You actually being real right here, and I like that. So he's like, no, it's not. And she knows that. She said, Katina, do you know that? Okay. This right here is emotional and verbal abuse. She is so distraught. She is operating in a place of fear. She's thinking about decision day and trying to persuade him the best that she can to think that it is an okay idea to say yes to her on decision day. Okay, this right here is ridiculous. So Katina is crying. She's visibly shaking. And she's like, it's his tone. And I just feel like he's beating up on me. Like, it's my insecurities. She said, I want to be married to someone who loves me, not someone who calls out my insecurities. She said, it makes me feel like I'm not good enough. I'm about to get pissed. I'm really about to get pissed. This man right here is taking me all the way back to season 12. We are 2 seasons later. Okay? This funky bald head man has broken her spirit over her not wanting to sweep the floor. For everyone condoning this man, saying all these negative things about this woman, they may need to reevaluate themselves, honey, and reevaluate their lives. He is treating her like she's Cinderella and he's one of the ugly stepsisters. If she doesn't want to sweep the floor, she doesn't have to sweep the floor. Cinderella, she's Katina, okay? Cut it out. It's getting ridiculous. Like, this is heartbreaking. And the even sadder part about all of this is he never once tried to console her after his words are what caused her such a strong reaction. You see her falling apart and crying and you just sitting there looking. Child, he does not care. Girl, let him go back to the streets from whence he came. Let him go right on back to that tacky kitchen in that old folks home he was living in that he bought. Okay, shout out to you as a homeowner, and cook for himself because he is not worth the mental anguish. This doesn't even make any sense. So here she is crying again. You are on a roll. I think, y'all know what? I think he gets some kind of sick satisfaction out of seeing her hurt because she wouldn't clean. So it's almost like, you wouldn't do what I told you to do, So I'm going to make sure that you feel the hurt. And now that I see that you're feeling the hurt, I'm going to make sure that you feel it even more by calling you lazy, by saying you're not mentally there. So you have called her mentally unstable, lazy, and not what a wife should be, and not meeting you where you are in one sitting. And instead of Dr. Viviana saying, you know what, let's just end this here. This isn't healthy. She continues. So Katina goes, I'm just telling you that your words are harsh and you need to work on your tone. You need to work on that. He gonna say, oh, okay, I hear you. Proceeds to try to talk to Dr. Viviana. She's like, no, what did she say? Let me hear you repeat that. So then Dr. V said, putting her down and calling her lazy, that isn't taking care of your wife. Thank you. Absolutely not. He's like, okay, so you're my wife and there are things that I expect to be done. They're big moments for me, like you cooking and cleaning. So Dr. Viviana is like, why are they big moments? Like, I don't understand this. No, we don't care why. We don't care why, Dr. Viviana. Don't ask him, why are they big moments? We don't care. Why are you steady talking about what you need, yet you want her to think about us? It seems like you're the person that's operating in I. You know what? I think you should have been matched with Jasmina, because neither one of you listen and neither one of you want to take accountability for your own actions. You operate in a place of I. Okay? I expect, I need, I'm not being met. Isaac, go to hell. Respectfully. Moving forward. So Dr. Viviana said, I think someone taught you something that's going to have you divorced several times. Honey, I know that's real. She's like, I can't help you with these archaic views of what makes a good wife. She said, you know what? If it's hinging on cooking and cleaning, then you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it with anybody. He's like, no, that's not it though. Then she said, no, that is it. I'm telling you, you're not. I'm an expert in this. Well, Dr. Viviana, let me say this to you, girl. And pretty dress, by the way. This is just a side note. You are the expert in this. So seeing what you've matched, you should say now, what am I doing? I'm responsible partially for this woman sitting here crying. We know that she's been in relationships that were verbally abusive, and she's been in relationships where she was emotionally abused and she had some insecurities, and we have paired her with a balding narcissist. I feel so bad, but carry on, girl. She's like, I'm the expert. Well, get into it then, honey. Let's get into it. Okay. No more Miss Nice V. We need to get real, because this idiotic way of thinking gonna have his ass by himself, as he should be. And she's like, so what is it going to take? He said, it's frustrating because I care for you. It's some bull. It's some bull. Dry them tears right on up. Suck it up, buttercup. Because you told the guys last week, maybe I should shed a few tears and maybe she'll get it. So now you're trying to manipulate her. Because in your mind, you think you crying is going to get her to do what you want her to do. Boy, please stop saying that and save the crocodile tears, because they are lost on me, honey. I am not buying nothing that you are selling, okay? So he goes back to his needs not being met. He's like, I talk to you, I don't get an answer. How can I grow if you don't say anything? It's very frustrating. Here go, Dr. Viviana. No, it's scary. This whole scene is scary. He needs to play in somebody else's face, or play in traffic. I mean, either one, whichever one comes up first. But I will say this is who he is. All of a sudden, it's not about cooking and cleaning. Now it's about her being vulnerable. Boy, if you don't shut up. Yes, Katina, please tell him how he's making you feel, okay? You really need to start piping up. But I see next episode, girl, you're going to get him together. Okay, shout out to Katina and Katina's wig. But this is the thing. Don't be afraid to lose something that's not worth keeping. Okay, let me say that again. Baby, I feel like I just gave a word. Do not be afraid to lose something that is not worth keeping. And child, I had to give my own self that pep talk. I'm just saying. All of this, and he still made it her fault somehow. Child, this is a fool. Moving forward. She said, well, I'm just going to try to be more vulnerable and open up, because I'm very serious about the marriage. So then Dr. Viviana said, well, I don't want you to operate in a place of fear, because it's not going to go over well, and he's not going to know you well enough to say yes on decision day. Dr. Viviana, why are we trying to coerce him to say yes on decision day? Are you present? If this is going to help him say no, then please continue to be a closed vault. Day 23 of marriage, Lindsay and Mark. They go to the beach. They have a task. So Mark asks, what's her favorite position? And she said on top, because she's discovered the G-spot. Child, don't want to hear nothing about that. And don't forget, so you can be in control, even if it's in the bedroom. Steve and Noy. He asked what she would think if she caught him watching something adult-like. Okay, because y'all know I can't say this over here on this channel because of the monetization of it all. She said, it may turn me on. He's like, oh, okay, I would love to experience that with you. Child, she ready, honey, got the wigs and everything to remain incognito. It's going to be fine, child. Katina and Isaac. So she asked him if he could change one thing about her physically, what would it be? I don't care about his opinion, but he said, you're good just the way you are. God made you in a good way. Katina, he is not into you, honey. You better wake up. You best to wake up. Jasmina and Michael. He asked what could make their marriage better. The two of you saying no on decision day. That would make it better. But let's proceed. She said, just talk to me. Oh, Lord. Oh, child. Okay. For what, Jasmina? What does he need to talk to you for? So you can say he said it wrong? What is he talking to you for? She's like, it just isn't about the big things. Like, just talk to me throughout the day. It's like the small things. He said, I want you to listen and understand me. I am not your enemy. Child, anyway. Then they talk about something embarrassing, and she told this story about a high school prank when she was a senior and whatnot. And then he tells her this story about how he was 6 and everybody was on the carpet and it was story time, and he asked to go to the restroom. The teacher would not let him, so he decided to just pee and spread it all up and through the floor, child. And everybody started standing up saying, pee pee boy, pee pee boy. Oh, child. Now, why on earth? Now, what would make you choose to tell her this story? When he was saying it, I said, baby, 6 was a tough year for Michael, child. Every time something happened to him, he was 6 years old. Oh, I bet he couldn't wait to be 7. Child, it's a fool. She said, my favorite physical feature on you is your arms. Child, not his arms. Not the arms that he lifts weights to get. Anything else on his body, and you chose his arms. You don't like the way that man look. You're not attracted to that man. Because every time I turn around, you're trying to touch that arm. That's the only thing on him that, perks you up a little bit. And that's the arms. Girl, goodbye. You ain't married to the arms, honey. You married to the man. He said that it's her smile. I love your smile. Shout out to Shanice, Noy, and Steve. Dr. Viviana in her dress, she visits them. Hey, girl, come on in. So they tell her that they've had, a good time together. And Noy's telling her when she gets upset, she just shuts down. And she said in the past that she lashed out. So she learned to just remain quiet to refrain from going off and hurting other people's feelings. So Dr. V asked her what she learned about his feelings. She got emotional, and she said, I just really didn't realize how much I hurt him. And she said, I just really have to work on not being so angry and so rude and saying things that I might regret. So then Steve tells her that he knows that she's not going to change overnight, but something has got to give because they can't sustain this way. Yes, okay, Noy, you can't be taking sushi and leaving for days. That's not going to work, honey. So then Dr. V asks, what would build trust in him? She said, I just need a concrete plan because he doesn't want to work, and I would like to be in a marriage where we both contribute financially. He said, do you doubt I'm capable of making money? And again, it is not about that, Steve. It's not about that. It's about keeping her in the loop so she feels secure with whatever you have planned. That's what I'm not about to go down this rabbit hole with y'all again. I really am not about to go down this rabbit hole. Y'all know my stance on Steve. Steve does not want to work. It's always an excuse. Moving forward. She said, well, I don't doubt it, but I haven't seen it. Like, for as long as I've known you, I haven't seen anything. He said, but is it affecting you financially? He's like, I've been cooking and cleaning. Well, child, you're not doing nothing else? Currently. So, what else are you supposed to be doing? He's like, do you really want me to go back to work? Do you like the benefits? Because if it's important for you for me to work a full-time job, then I'm not going to be able to cook or clean food as good. Steve, cut the crap. Okay, cut the crap. Do you know how many people work and clean? It's a 2-bedroom apartment. Steve is lazy. End of it. Okay. Period, point blank. Steve wants to be a house husband. If you're going to cook and clean, you need to get on over there with Elijah/Isaac. Okay. So you should have been matched with him if you want to stay up in the house, because Noy doesn't want a house husband. And that is okay for her to say, no, I would like for you to work outside of the home. No matter if you're freelancing, you can kick cans for a living, long as you kick cans outside this house. Because Noy is like, Steve, I want you to work, 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 work. Let me see you work, 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 work. And Steve is like, I don't cook, I don't clean, but let me tell you, I got this ring. Child, this is a fool. Shout out to Cardi B and Rihanna. What is happening? Steven, honey, I don't know if your name is Steven, but you're going to be Steven today. You need to do something to make this lady feel safe. And no, I really don't want to hear from you, because you loved him after 3 days and he wasn't working those 3 days either, child. But Noy said, it just sounds like excuses to me. I mean, we can both work, cook, and clean. So then he pipes up and says, well, let's just see. I mean, because if you want to do that, then we can do that. But once I go to work, there's no turning back. Steve, you're coming across as a manipulator. Okay, all jokes aside. If you didn't want to work after going and she realized she didn't like the way things were, you can easily stop that. Boy, if you don't go, moving forward. So then Dr. Viviana asked if she would be okay with him being a stay-at-home dad or a stay-at-home husband. And she was like, no, that's not what I envisioned. And that is okay. Jasmina and Michael, Dr. V is there with them, and she asked where their trust level is with intimacy. So Michael was like, there's not any intimacy. There's no hand holding. There's no kissing. There's no cuddling. There's nothing. Michael is Jasmina's roommate till decision day. She does not like this man. She's used to living with a man, so it's no biggie for her. They just sharing a bed and whatnot. They probably got the covers split right down the middle. It's too early for nothing. Like, how are y'all doing nothing? No hand holding, no kid. Mark and Lindsay tear each other down to the ground. And every now and again, he giving her a little something. So what is happening? So Dr. Viviana asked why. He said, I just let her take the lead on where we're going with that. So Jasmina said, I just want someone that, I have an emotional and physical connection with first. She said, oh, okay, so that's what you're used to. She said, no, that's what I prefer. Okay, because if I have that emotional and physical connection with you, if I'm just really being honest, if I have no connection with you, my vagina is not getting wet for you. Girl, why are you getting an attitude? Like, tone that down. It's just questions. Like, she always has her face furled up, always has a little attitude. Oh, child. So Dr. Viviana said, so you're not connected yet? Jasmina said, well, sometimes I feel good, but other times we're just coexisting. That is awful. That is really awful. So then Dr. V asked Michael if he feels like anytime he says something, she's going to view it as aggressive. He said, yes. The comfortability level just isn't there for me. Didn't I tell y'all? Baby, y'all gonna start listening to me. Didn't I tell y'all a few episodes ago when I did that review that he is just as afraid to say things to Jasmina as Mark is to say it to Lindsay? I told y'all, honey, just as nervous as Mark the shark. And she's like, I told you that I wanted to start over. So if it's not reciprocated, then that's on you. Then they began to misunderstand each other and point the finger at each other and fuss and fight like they like to do. Moving forward. He's on the defense. She's getting defensive. It's just exhausting. So then Dr. Viviana chimes in and she tries to stop this runaway train. Then Jasmina hits him with and Alyssa. Shout out to Alyssa. She said, I just feel like I'm putting in more of the effort. Girl say, what now? I'm not about to run down the times that Michael has tried anything to get even a little bit close to Jasmina. I'm not about to do that because Jasmina is delusional at this point. Okay, I don't know what you're trying that he's not trying, but to be quite honest, I don't see it. Now, maybe that's just me. So he said, hearing that, I feel like you're giving me the benefit of the doubt. Okay, Michael, really? He still said he was afraid to speak his speech because everything that he says, she's going to deem it being disrespectful. So then Dr. Viviana brings up journaling. Okay. She said, maybe you guys should journal. I love a good journal. I like to write down my thoughts. Sometimes when things aren't going as they should, I say, you know what? Let me just write this down. And speaking of journals, let me just do a shameless plug right here. Please grab your Speak Your Speech journals. I will leave the link down in the description box below. It's available on Amazon.com. Shout out to the Opinionated family. Moving forward. So Dr. Viviana is asking if they want to get to the place of intimacy. He said he wants to, but then she said, if we talked more, then we could get to, it could get to something, and then maybe spooning could lead to forking. And she starts smiling. I'm like, is Jasmina just awkward? Is she mean? What is wrong with you, girl? I am so confused. She is everywhere. I have absolutely no idea who she is, and I just don't know. I really don't. Jasmina, but you ain't slick, okay? Because I peep what you did, you ain't slick. You said that about communicating because you know good and well he's scared of you. And you know he not going to say nothing. So therefore, and thus and such, he ain't talking to you and you ain't got to kiss him. Lindsay and Mark. Child, Dr. Viviana gets there to talk about sex. Okay, let's talk about sex, baby. Shout out to Salt and Pepper. So she asked how they feel about their marriage and Lindsay starts laughing hysterically. Lindsay got a little hyena in her. Baby, Lindsay gonna laugh everywhere she go. And speaking of Lindsay, why is Lindsay a permanent resident on the after party? Baby, if we don't see nobody else, Lindsay is gonna be available. I said, baby, they gonna keep Lindsay on that after party, ain't they? So Dr. Viviana tells them what they did in the past, they can never do again because they like to hit below the belt. So then she started asking about their sex life. So Lindsay is like, it's dead. She said, okay, Mark, tell me what's going on. And she's like, well, Mark was all in. And then the second time he said it didn't feel right. Mark said, yes, I did say those things. I was all in, but then, some things happened. So Dr. V said, how was it? He said it was great. Here go Lindsay. It wasn't bad. I mean, I don't know. I just wasn't really satisfied. Like I thought he could handle me. It doesn't look like it. Lindsay, you don't look like you do nothing in the bed. Not nothing. You don't look like you do nothing but lay there, talk, and give directions. Stick it here, slide it there. Please stop. Faster, harder. Girl, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't hitting on nothing. Please stop putting Mark down every chance you get. You even do that on that after party. You starting to get on my nerves, Lindsay. I'm not playing with you. Leave that man alone. That was rude as hell. So Dr. V said, well, do you want to have a good sex life with him? She said, yeah. She said, oh, okay. Well, don't be so rude when you're talking about it. Why you gotta be so rude? Shout out to Magic. Moving forward. Yes, Lindsay, you need to get it together. Okay? You really need to get it together or leave it alone. Lindsay said, so, it's just so hard, Viv. Girl, not Viv. Lindsay, you did not grow up with this woman. Child, she gets so comfortable so fast. She said, it's not hard. It's hard to be not to be rude. Like, what are you talking about? She's like, no, it's just really hard to talk to him. Girl, talking ain't never been hard for you. You're rude. Cut it out. So then Dr. Viviana asked if they wanted to trust each other and want the best for each other. Both of them said yes. And I'm just like, listen, y'all just get it together, baby. They are making Dr. Viviana earn that check this episode. Do you hear me? Lindsay showing her tail, acting a fool. Elijah acting like he's stuck in the 1950s. I don't know what's happening. Noah and Steve love each other, but she want him to work and he don't want to work because the eggs might be a little runny. Child, I am not knowing what's going on. But all I know is they making Dr. Viviana work for it this episode. Day 24 of marriage, Jasmina and Michael. So they're talking about how the conversation went. Let me just say this right here. I was in my first marriage and things were going crazy. And I remember we went to a marriage counseling session and the therapist told us because we were unable to effectively communicate, we could only speak to each other 15 minutes a day. And that 15 minutes that we spoke to each other, it had to be meaningful. We had to get out everything that we needed to say. And we needed to cut it off when it was starting to get to a point where we were blaming each other and being condescending and things like that. That's what should go on for Jasmina and Michael. They should only be allowed to speak 15 minutes a day. I don't care how long they've been together throughout the day, 15 minutes tops. The other parts of the day, they need to be completely silent until they can learn how to communicate with each other because this right here is crazy. So they get to talking, right? Michael said, I just didn't know that you didn't think I was putting in any effort. So Jasmina was like, I appreciated that we got to talk a different way. I appreciated Dr. V for doing that. So then he says, I think writing down things is good too, because, we can realize that what we really need to say. He said, we were kind of talking over each other today. She's like, it happened twice. So please stop trying to use that as something to go off of. He said, okay, it happened twice, but it still happened. So child, she rolling her eyes. She's like, what does that have to do with journaling? It has to do with it because he's saying if y'all write it down, it won't escalate because you won't cut each other off. You can get all of your thoughts out and all of your emotions. So when the two of you speak to each other, you won't be such in a hurry to cut him off or he cuts you off. So he said, if we write it down, we can read it. We can read what the other person has to say. So she said, I don't want to write it down. I have no problem being vocal. Like, why can't we talk? He does have a problem with being vocal. Because every time he speaks to you, you don't like what he's saying. And if you do like what he's saying, you don't like the way he's saying it. He doesn't feel comfortable talking to you at all. So she said, you can write it down and then you can come to me and I'll read it. He said, but it's both of our issues. Why am I the only one doing the exercise? She's like, you know what? That's in your head. So then they start arguing about journaling. So he then says to her, I'm saying, let's do this because time and time again. So child, she starts rolling her eyes yet again. She's like, you know what? Just give me a second. Just give me a second. See, this is how I know that another marriage is not for me, because you are not about to be rude, roll your eyes and get up because you don't like what's being said. Child, when she got back, I would have been gone. Do y'all hear me? So she goes out to the hallway for an Alyssa moment, aka a timeout. She is so childish. Her attitude really stinks. I don't even care what she was saying in the hallway because it makes absolutely no sense. Moving forward. Jasmina feels like Michael thinks it's his way or the highway. So she comes back in per the producer's instructions, and she tells him that he's not giving her the space to do what she wants to do. He said, I was just trying to give you a solution. I'm starting not to be able to stand their scenes. I really am. I can't stand it. The expert, Jasmina, okay, or Viv, as Lindsay calls her, she gave you that exercise to do. You just want to control everything that happens. That's what it is. Michael, stop being such a pushover. Didn't her daddy warn you to not let her run over you? She doesn't want to do it because it's not something she came up with. It's very childish, and that is not going to work in a marriage. Jasmina, you are not ready for a relationship. Not even a marriage, honey. You are not ready for a relationship. Your attitude is just terrible. Isaac and Katina. So she comes in with what looks like more than bread and water, child. She got these bags all in her arms. And she's like, just because we hit a rough patch doesn't mean like I'm not going to put in effort. I'm going to woo him. Baby, what is you doing? You're going to woo him? You are going to have to prove yourself to him all the time. You want a man that you have to convince to like you? Not even love you, to like you? Okay, girl. So she set up a movie night for them, equipped with a concession stand, and he was so ecstatic because, of course, she's catering to him. All right, Destiny's Child. 1 point for Katina and Elijah's book. Isaac's book. So now he's happy, but it's short-lived, okay? I'm telling you this right now, Katina, that it's going to be short-lived. She's like, I'm so happy, like I brought joy to him. Okay, girl. So they sit down, and he's singing her praises because she's proven she's worthy of his love through Reese's Pieces. He's like, I just like that, you listened. I hate how he speaks to her. But if that's what you like, honey, if you like it, I love it. Lindsay and Mark. They get this intimacy package, right? And one of the cards say silent treatment. And they gave them a ball gag. Baby, they want Lindsay silent by any means necessary. They want Lindsay to shut the hell up. So she uses the ball gag on him. Okay, that's a no. Like, where's that thing been? Child, at least wash it before y'all just shove it in your mouth. Child, this is a fool. So then they pull out the candy-coated underwear. Shout out to Candy. Please cut the cameras, because I don't want to see this. Like, I really not want to see him put on this candy-coated G-string. I really did not. The card tells them to demonstrate how they want to cuddle. They skinning and grinning, honey. They having a good time. Lindsay's hyena is coming out. The whole scene is cringe. Then she takes a picture of a shirtless, ball-gagged shark. And she's like, I like it. It looks like he's being hazed at a college sorority, but I'm the one who's hazing him. Wouldn't he be in a fraternity, Lindsay? Not the know-it-all, not knowing the difference between a fraternity and a sorority. And girl, I could have gone my whole life without seeing him in these candy-coated thongs. Day 26 of marriage. Steve and Noy. Steve is getting the guys together for ice hockey, and Noy is getting the ladies together for aerial yoga. Of course, Lindsay lets us know that she's done aerial before. Okay, she's like, I've done aerial, and I've also done yoga, so I'm ready. Okay, girl. So, child, they begin instruction, and the instructor tells them to throw their leg over. When I tell y'all I hollered during this scene, Katina could not get that leg over to save her life. Girl, you better start stretching before the questions come. Are you a woman? Okay, because a woman would know how to throw her legs open. Her legs would be able to open wide enough. Where can you meet me as a woman with your leg? Child, I don't want to hear nothing that's going on with Isaac, okay? So please do your stretches before you get to popping with him. Moving forward. Then they showed the girls, right? Child, Katina was wrapped up like a butterfly in a cocoon. This scene tickled me. This scene tickled me so, honey. Ooh, this scene tickled me. Who would have thought Lindsay would be the most flexible one out of the whole group? Child, this is a fool. Back over with Steve and the guys. He tells them that he dropped the L word. The guys start playing ice hockey. Michael can't stay on his feet. Everybody's falling down, but they having a good time. Back with the women, Noy said, me and Steve are almost too comfortable. Like, it's crazy. Okay, girl. Jasmina said, I miss the chase of dating. Oh, okay, so the streets is calling. Got it. Katina said, I don't miss nothing about dating. Okay, I like having a spouse. Katina, I want you to have a spouse, but I don't want you to have a spouse that demeans you and berates you. You can have a spouse that loves you, and do you know how much more enjoyable a marriage would be? With a man who protects you, with a man who understands what you've gone through and makes it a point to make you feel secure in the marriage. Do you know how great having a spouse would be if you could take your wig off at night? I'm just saying, child. Moving forward. Lindsay was like, yeah, I miss being wooed. Well, they wooed you, but did they wife you? Okay? Because if they did, then you wouldn't be here. So how do you miss it? Girl, goodbye. She's like, Marcus, he's doing what he has to do, but, he's giving it up again. So I have a good attitude today. I'm in better spirits. Child, back over with Mark. He's talking about how Lindsay is and, they're rating where they are in their marriage. He said, I feel like she's a 6. Isaac said, well, last week I was at a 4, but this week I'm at an 8. She gave him candy, y'all. He's at an 8 after receiving his Reese's Pieces. Nobody better lay a finger on my Butterfinger. Now he's fine. Mike said, have you ever been a 1 or a 0? So Isaac was like, well, if I get that low, then I'm giving up. So Michael said, well, there's been times I've been at a 1 or a 2. So then he rates his marriage a 7 right now. He's like, yeah, I'm rating it a 7. And I know, like, if somebody asked her, she'd rate it at a 7. Child, we go back over to Jasmina. She's like, I don't feel comfortable with giving a rating. Like, it's something that really has to happen for me to say yes on decision day, because we don't even talk. We lost an entire month. Like, I'm just really not feeling it. Jasmina want to go back to her K-pop dramas, her apartment with Mr. Feeney, her male roommate, and her relationships across the globe. Child, goodbye and good night. These two are not on the same page. Moving forward. Jasmina and Michael. It's time for maths, tantric yoga, okay? Y'all know it would not be a math season. No season would be complete without it. I don't care how much tantric yoga they do. It's not happening. It's just not happening. So they asked each other questions, and he asked her if she's been vulnerable. She said no, because, of the lack of communication, but no, I have not been vulnerable. So she asked him, what's hard to say to me? He said, I wish I could trust you more. So he feels like if she wasn't so defensive and trying to understand him more, then it would be a step in the right direction. She says she sees why he reacts that way, and she needs to create a safe space for him because nothing is all his fault. Under normal circumstances, I would say, oh my gosh, it's a breakthrough. I hear you, Jasmina, but you got me like that last episode. Okay, with these two, I have no idea what's real and what is not. Last week, she was asking him to be vulnerable at Jasmina's gym. Then she bit his head off this week. So, child, I don't know, honey. Whatever y'all gonna do, just do it. Steve and Noy. So they play the game, and the card said, take a body shot. Here go, Noy. What's a body shot? Girl, you mean to tell me all those wigs and all the noise that Noisy makes and you don't know what a body shot is? Girl, goodbye. So then Steve explains to her what a body shot is. And y'all know what? Noy seems so young and inexperienced sometimes. Like, I just don't get it. So the next one was, dance for your partner. And they do a cute little dance. Girl, if you don't pop, lock, and drop it on your man. So then the card asked what they wanted to try with their partner. He said he wanted to try taking a shower and bathing each other. Womp, womp, womp. Steve, that's all you got? Child, I must be fast then, honey, because that's PG-13 to me, honey. You want to take a bath together? Okay. Child, what is happening? She said, I want to do it somewhere semi-public. There's no such thing as semi-public. If you ain't in your house, it's public. Girl. He's like, well, I'm all for fulfilling people's fantasy, whether it's on a road trip or walk through the woods. Baby, Steve gonna get that motor running in that van on the road one way or the other. Steve said, let's take a road trip. Oh, child, I'm done. Then they had to write down their fears, struggles, and burn them together. And let it burn. Shout out to Usher. So then they go out on the balcony, y'all, with this candle and this paper. And I'm like, I hope they don't burn down the shared apartment. Jasmina and Michael. They're doing something, and as long as they don't talk to each other, then that's fine. She says she hasn't felt a spark since the wedding day, but the exercises are bringing it back. Okay. Isaac and Katina, day 28 of marriage. They get their kinky care package, and theirs should have came with a clean pair of drawers, honey, instead of those suits. I'm just saying, that's just a side note. So they start getting into it, and it's giving S&M, and he was enjoying that little spanking. I was like, ugh, oh, child, I just don't like anything about Isaac. I really don't. And, they kissed, and it looked awkward AF. And he starts giving her a massage, and he's like, I just felt like she was really into it, and I know she felt it on her back. Oh, my God. So then it's her turn, and she goes to pour some Tito's in his belly button and sips it out. Katina, you are trying too hard. That was disgusting. Like, I threw up in my mouth a little, because I bet that shot was salty as hell. I bet it was salty. Ugh. When I tell y'all that was a yuck moment for me, that was so nasty. He's like, oh, that means she want to get nasty. I'm glad I took a shower. So am I. So am I. And scene. And that was the end of the episode. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't. And baby, judging from next episode, Katina is going to find her voice because she ain't playing with Isaac. Now, I don't know exactly what he did, but all I can say is this. Whatever it was, she is pissed about it. Child, we are going to discuss this further on the live tomorrow night. Join me there at 8 Central Standard Time so we can get into it as we get into it. Y'all, please don't hesitate to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, spread love, not germs. Peace.